and particularly that bot lane got punished so insanely hard.
Yeah, and that problem was named Lehens. He was a big problem instantly with the Swifty boots roaming around the map, making pick after pick. He really enables that whole comp.
And I think it is because of those hooks, right? The difference wasn't just an advantage bot lane. The difference was Lehens individually, without him overperforming. Magnificent performance on the Blitzcrank, followed up by Pays. That game is so much harder for the side of Gen G, but now it's the Senna, the neutralizing lane. BLG, will they pair it with the Ornn? Because they're going toe-to-toe with the Ashe Kalista combo.
Yes. Lehens, yeah, this time around will be on the Ashe here. There could, of course, be a swap, but most likely this is just going to be him on the Ashe support. We'll see. The Ornn, I think, should be the main thing you think about here. You're already looking at two pretty easy to pick off AD carries. The Kench really has dropped in priority, and they're going to go for that instead of picking up that Ornn.
Yeah, a little safety here with the Devour. If someone gets hit by the Ashe arrow, try and save them that way.
There it is.
But there we go. That's a real pick. It's time to throw it down. Shun and Canyon are two Nidalee players at the tournament. And will Shun use Canyon's own skin against him? I would say yes.
Oh, give it, yes!
Most people have.
A lot of jungle matchups are just about what you can do for the team, but now this is a 1v1 I can get behind. The Lee Sin versus the Nidalee. Shun finally going to try his hand again. Is he going to be the one to make the difference? A lot of Xin games so far this series.
Now, too, it's interesting because we're both looking at the mid laners that are going to best facilitate these junglers or work with these junglers. On the side of Chovy, he has so many options to pair with a Lee Sin. Meanwhile, it's a lot harder to pair with a Nidalee because it is AP, but also because you usually want some point-and-click stun setup to be able to land those spears. But Knight has been like the enabler for this team, so trying to take down a couple of those setup champions. The Camille, obviously, the hook shot, long range, grab that stun, really good at initiating there for the Nidalee.
I was about to say, I imagine BLG are going to ban away to K'Sante. Don't want to give that because that is a really safe counter pick for Gen G. We've seen Keen be insanely dominant on this pick, and it saves Chovy's counter pick, meaning that he can not only tailor his pick to what the Lee would want to do, but also to what Knight is going to play. Taking K'Sante away takes away one of the best blind picks. You could go for TF, so I'm wondering if that's going to be banned away here by BLG as well, and especially if we see a Jax ban, I think we could see it.
Tristana going to be what's banned away, of course, the AD pairing with the Nidalee. Chovy, a player who's brought out the Yone, obviously offers split damage, but it is primarily AD, and the question is Knight going to be forced into a situation where it's a double AP jungle mid combo? Never really ideal in pro play. How is the final ban going to be for BLG? Presumably a safe blind pick to be taken off the board.
Maybe to Zek. Could be an angle as well.
If they want to go the Twisted Fate's still available too. Could yoink that away. Right. Oh, is that a no ban?
That's a missed ban.
Let's
we'll wait.
Let's double check here.
We'll wait for production to confirm in the meantime.
I still have the Twisted Fate in my head though. It applies so much map pressure. And against these targets.
Hey, locked in.
All right.
Blind Wayer for Chovy. We've only seen it play him into the Tristana, where you're able to get a lot of early arrest down, and thanks to the zone control that you have, particularly with the linear jump in, is quite strong. Now this is going to be a big moment for BLG. What are they going to get to round out the comp here?
I feel like they need engage. We saw in the first series, if you play a game about spacing, about slow, ranged team fights, Gen G come out on top every time. It's engage options, and that's confidence. Jace now locked in.
The long-forgotten AD that has not appeared yet. The first pick for Jace at MSI. When Tristana is banned, the Jace comes back.
And now the debate. It could be the final game. What better time to bring out a signature pick? The Jax locked in as BLG are betting everything here.
Series on the line, finals on the line. Bin says, give me the Jax. Touted as the best Jax player in the world.
Is it Poppy? Could be an angle here.
Rumble.
Oh,
Rumble.
More power. Keen meets him head first. One of the matchups that's so hard to play out for the Jax. We saw this in the matchup, Broken Blade against Zeus, I think it was, even with an early kill. so hard to play it out once you get to the mid to later stage of the game. Crucially though, this is a very different comp from Gen G. They were really relying on their beefcakes in the previous game. Won't have that available this time around.
Yeah, both of the comps that we saw already for Gen G, very different styles, and they were able to adapt themselves and play to the different needs of each composition thus far. Now they are going to be facing, though, double poke in the Nidalee plus Jace, and possibly later the super long range scaling from Senna. So they really have to keep it in check here.
Of course, a reminder to cast your vote for the Oppo MSI Finals MVP by scanning the QR code on the screen. If Gen G do manage to end it here. These comps are volatile. These comps are fragile, but they are also incredibly explosive.
If BLG can get some early leads there on the Nidalee, on the Jace, it could be very, very scary. Bin, of course, on the Jax in the side lane, always something that you're going to have comfort with. But I'm looking at Canyon on Gen G, looking at Canyon to have some big influence here.
It feels like all of Chengdu are looking to BLG to mount this comeback, cheering their hearts out as we come into this final game. A 3-0, a victory march for Gen G would be crushing. The reverse sweep, not impossible, but an incredible challenge for BLG as the Gyos come out.
BLG, they acquired Knight, the MVP of last year's finals at MSI, to create this super team for this purpose, to win championships. Bin looking for his second as well. Knight trying to be back-to-back, but they are up against the wall here. Gen G have just pummeled them in the first two games of this series.
And it's important to remember that they did win. They pick up Knight, they immediately win Demacia Cup over JDG. They win the entire season. They were the best team in the league. There was no doubt, there was no dispute. Here on stage, making it back to finals, there was that glimmer of hope that they would show us more here, that they would adapt. And while we saw some of it, Gen G have just always been a step ahead.
Yep, problem for BLG. Gen G wasn't in that league, and Gen G beat them in the previous series here at MSI. So far in all of our rematches, we have had the same original victor emerge. Let's see if BLG can change the story right here.
Shun and Bin gonna start here towards the bottom half of the map. It's them that initiate the swap. Keen will see if he has a suspicion, sees them now, and should be able to back off. See if he joins Canyon towards that top side clear. Usually what happens, not to be at the risk. I want to talk a little bit about this Nidalee. As we were saying, ideal with Nidalee, you want to have some great setup. In this case, the Jace, when it comes to the TCC, not necessarily the best setup, but obviously an AD pairing, plus the fact that you have a really, really high level of poke is huge. The Jax, though, that is a lethal 1-2. And those 2v2s, I think, are going to matter a lot. When we get to the mid to late stage of the game, it's also going to be about who can find the poke that sticks. Because on one hand, I think BLG, that Jace-Nidalee combination basically plays itself. Do have some struggles with actually initiating fights. For Gen G, it's really just Chovy, but Lahenz's initiation can be quite powerful.
And the Gen G members, they're probably going to have an easy time dodging stuff. I mean, there's not the point and click on the side of BLG, and it's really going to come down to, do they have flashes? Can Bin, like, Giga Flash a giant Jack stun in there and set them up? It's really gonna have to be, I feel like, build up a snowball and try and get some siege potential there. Throw out the poke, see if you can get some stuff to land.
Particularly with poke comms, the moment you start falling behind, like, not only is your poke gonna be less damage in of itself, obviously is a big problem, but it's mostly the fact that if you don't have vision control, poke-comms just feel so much worse, right? It's the Nidalee Spear that you can't see. It's the Jace EQ combo that you are unable to spot in ahead. Then you walk into it, then you take an objective, and then that's the end of it. I don't know if that's going to be the case here for either team. We're going to have to take a close look at this early game. Right now, obviously, Gen G going to feel great because they have double AD carry, and they're hammering at the bot lane turret as opposed to top.
TP now down to the bottom lane on level 3. Very difficult to dive. Abyssal Dive coming out, just trying to stop it back. Good tempo advantage from BLG. Pays interrupted there. Massive for the reset.
I do like it. Yeah, he expends the cooldown there to go for the interrupt so you can't reset and get back up to top side. Been pushing that wave at the tower right now as Shun finds visual confirmation here on Canyon.
This jungle matchup, another example of that volatility.
Did Bin pull the wave? I think Bin pulled the wave up there. I mean, Keen is going to get up there pretty soon, but Bin actually denying a few of those minions by pulling it up, and then you saw on the minimap he kind of went up into the brush.
Also has a level lead. Not a lot, but experience still in favor of the Jax here. Also, due to the lane swap meta, I think so much of the power of Rumble in lane in particular early comes from the fact that you have, with your Ignite, such an insane kill threat. But with lane swap, you can't really afford to play that summoner as Shun looks towards the bottom side of the map.
Pays and Lehen step very far up. The Abyssal Dive is going to connect. Spear, though, doesn't. The quick flash out from Pays, but he's still getting run down. Shun is on the hunt. One more Spear to try to close it out. Pays going to drop, and he knows it. Running to clear the wave. Lehen slowed up, but the play will stop there.
This is that 1-2-3. Elk on and Shun. Shun, crucially, arriving just as the wave is pushed in. Pays and Lehen stone the vision, overstep, and a really nice punish here for BLG.
All right, BLG, they get the successful play on the bottom side, and Bin is going to end up with a nice experience advantage here on top side, off of denying a bit with that pull, with that delay that On was able to get out as well for their lane. BLG actually setting up with a good opening here.
Shun spotted on a bit of vision here. The Canyon going to try to sneak in a Drake. Resets coming through, bot lane will be even. Lehens is here first, should be able to grab this first objective. You mentioned it earlier, when you talk about poke, early advantages can be massive. Breaking open mid lane tower, if either side can find an edge there, the map just starts to shrink for the opposite side.
Meanwhile, we get our reset. Guess what? Void Grubs are on the way, so here comes the Senna. Up to the top side of the map. BLG sends Senna. They've got Nidalee all the way up there. They get the alert that Genji just cleaned up the dragon, so it should be their Void Grubs.
Pace alone here, no summoners available, so he's going to have to be a lot more careful. Should have confirmation soon, or at least a suspicion. There's the Hawk shot to confirm that both Elk and Shun currently towards the top side of the map. Chovy doing great, as he often does in this isolated 1v1. Knight not going to feel too bad. Imagine he might look towards a Hex Drink early on to try and shrug off some of this poke, or you can also just go for the Mercs, so you don't get too much value against Genji.
Once Knight has that Hex Drinker, perhaps an opportunity to just get incredibly aggressive in lane, has the phase rush as well, can really just run down the way, who lacks a lot of those reliable defensive tools.
Yeah, you can kind of soft set up your Nidalee by jumping in and getting the slow onto Wei. Then you're not going to like guarantee that the spear hits, but you could get a flash with the extra slow, allowing Shun to really get some more pressure. I think bottom side though, you see Canyon moving in, he's level 6, and he's going to look for the red buff steal here as you get the reset. Coming through lane for Shun.
So they do pay pretty heavily for those grubs, as Canyon, he sniped this away.
Trying to secure it, does get it, now needs to make it the hell out. Has the ward, can just get over for safety.
Canyon getting a little steal in there, particularly with the Nidalee, always want to try and stay ahead of the opposition. Incredibly strong power farmer. Canyon actually sitting on an experienced lead here. Of course, was farming while Shun went for the bot side play. Biggest reason why we see that is Knight doesn't have his teleport available, so doesn't really want to leave this lane, give Chovy more leads, but he's been pushed up continuously. And with Lehens now roaming around, keeping his mid laner safe, it's hard for BLG to find anything to do against this wave.
Chovy using the pressure here so well. Now getting the fear, the immediate follow-up, spiraling to spare. Severing Bolt, where's it gonna go? Holds the cooldown, and Knight's just forced out a lane. Back steps to recall, crucially.
These little timing windows, I love that play. They combo it, they know that he's gonna
cancel!
And they cancel it, they delay it for another wave. But Lehens, they use his timing there so nicely, and Chovy lays in the ultimate. They do get the flash out of Knight. Now the Jace is a kill target. He sticks around and he should be able to clean up that wave.
That's the good news. All in on the top side. Equalizer goes wide. Quick flash out from Keen. Matched by Bin. Counter-strike still there. Canyon, they're going to try to follow up. Kicks him into the wall. Hit confirms. Canyon grabbing the kill.
Bin just gets in that wave, but unfortunately for him, even with the Equalizer basically whiffing, there is enough damage without Ignite. Keen flashes in, and Canyon secures the kill.
Teleports right back out to it too, and Shin is on top side. Let's see if he goes for a bit of a lane gank himself.
Was double flash invested by Genji as well, so punish opportunity could be here.
No ulti for the Rumble to clear the wave from a distance.
Oh, Sean, I like this angle.
Bin walking back, he's on vision. Keen walking up, thinks he has the angle for a positive trade as he's about to overheat. Shun, can he find the spear? The minion wave there, Keen standing inside of it. Counter-strike for Bin available. They're playing this so patient, but Keen isn't really giving them an opportunity.
And that's the second time that this has happened. Earlier, we saw Shun sitting in a brush as well, looking, waiting for an opportunity. Because, yeah, the clear speed's great, you get a lot more timing windows, but Keen isn't playing into it at all. Knows, I don't have flash, I invested my equalizer, and as a result doesn't woke up, just farms with the harpoon.
It is a really good play to not die, but how do you deal with the minion wave now for Keen? This Rumble has no flash up there, and Bin has the wave pushing towards him. I think Bin is doing a really good job.
Yeah, return gang there. Sean on his way again. Keen just being kind of left out to dry. Canyon in no position to help.
But crucial is that they get some value here. Keen really cannot approach. Well highlighted equalizer on the way. But if the spear doesn't hit, this gank gets so much more difficult. No flash on Keen either. They don't want to take any risks. Rumble's damage is incredible early on, but BLG just happy to have the wave frozen as much as they can.
Wow, yeah, and they're still not even calling Canyon over to help him fix. Canyon's gonna go do Raptors. Keen is fine.
Hands rooted, flashback in anticipation of the Abyssal Dive. It's a good play, but now Pays looking to follow up on Elk. Elk only level 5, backstep coming through for Lahens. He gets the arrow down on. Very tanky.
Oh.
Do they have the damage? Thick skin there. Should on the way. Devours Pays, but Pays is fine. Backstepping. Lahens ready to body block. Spear not going to hit on either side. Shun desperate for kills. Lashes in. The heal is there. They're trying to knock down Pays. Pays living for a little bit too long. Lahens there. But now Chovy's on the way in. The pullback. The spiraling despair. But the dawning shadow keeps on alive.
The timing from Shun absolutely crucial there. And Gen G, they don't get the kill on Elk. And in the longer trade, Kench has so much sustain.
The bot lane plays keeping BLG alive. That's going to turn into their Dragon plus an instant teleport from Knight back to mid lane to try and get some turret plates. Canyon wants to punish him though.
Jumps in. No one else there to collapse, but the TP, they want to commit more resources. They're ready to fight for this. Chovy on the way, but the Dragon already gone. Abyssal Dive out, anticipates it. Severing Bolt onto On. Lays down the eye, roots up Elk, decent ball of damage. Canyon ready to follow. Canyon with the kickback. Lahens is here, Pays on the way. Canyon gives his life, but Knight stands for an extra second. It's just the 1-for-1. Elk now needs to get the hell out. Jovi chasing, severing Bolt. Nice backstep from Elk.
Oh, he's stuck. Bin's on his way, but he doesn't have TP.
Q through for the extra healing. Chovy wants to finish, zoned away from the eye. Pays now following up, severing Bolt. Side steps from Elk are so damn good, and he just can't go down. He just doesn't. He keeps getting away. Elk is too damn clean with it.
The dodges, evasive maneuvers there from Elk. He escapes all 3 hunters.
The swifties, the movement speed, the moves from Elk. The turret will go down, but BLG will deny Gen G that kill.
Meanwhile, on top side, Keen gonna lay down his ultimate to push in and set up for the objective here. Void Grubs started up.
You look back at the start of this play, Lahens' proactive flash really pays off.
Really want to highlight again, Kench in a 1v1 is so insanely strong. His base damages and his health is so tough to deal with, and with the continued sustain on Q, you just can't burst this guy down.
And jungle again is such a difference maker because he's so tanky, like you're saying. They buy enough time for Shun, the Nidalee, to hop his way down there, pick up the kill. The healing and the shields here from Elk keeping On alive, allowing them to push out and quickly take down the objective.
Then here, you see, yes, Summoner has to be invested, the cleanse, sure, but BLG, trade up 1-for-1, right? Because Canyon goes down immediately, Knight ends up going down, but he buys the space for Elk that he needs, and even without TPs available, that's one dodge. And honestly, we should keep track of, we can't run the whole clip, but he dodged everything and got out alive.
Incredible play from Elk, not to give away the shutdown. 2-0-2 his scoreline now, 43 souls. He's getting more and more powerful. Shun amping up besides him. 2-0-2 with the Lich Bane completed. It could be Knight in trouble. Pays ready to go over the wall. Pierce over for a bit of extra damage. Fake call. Shun is here. Want to get the combo down. Flash out from Knights. Lahens now there to follow up. Keen trying to chase him down as quickly as he can. Shun though, ready with the Primal Surge.
The collapse is coming. Gen G used 2 ultimates there.
On coming in. Lahens nowhere to go. Keen cut down by Shun on the Nidalee. The Rumble obliterated, and Chengdu comes alive for BLG.
And BLG's pathway back series is straight through bottom lane.
And it's Shun blind picking the Nidalee, being everywhere he needs to be. 100% kill participation as Gen.G overinvest, trying to get a kill on Knight. All they get is the flash, and they have to pay dearly with 3 lives.
Pressure continues, 2K advantage for BLG. The Senna's not supposed to be this far ahead in the clock, only a 400 deficit, and pays as an extra 100 farm. Knight as well, starting to get scarier. And again, the overstep here from Gen.G.
Yeah, they expend so much. The Callisto and the Ash Arrow there, not getting more than the flash out of Knight.
They also don't have a Rumble ult. Otherwise, you might have been able to zone them away. Shun goes in here, not afraid of Keen. And then the knock-up from On, and the fact that he lands the slow continuously on pace. The moment Callisto gets slowed down, no way you're ever getting out of that. And then the bot lane turn to boot.
And these fights are giving Elk so many additional souls. The more they scrap around bot lane, the more they accelerate him on this Senna. Chovy continuing in the side lane, farming up. He's had a decent performance thus far, but Knight TPing in, trying to mitigate the push. And meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pays is getting a bit of control. BLG with a sizable lead, yes, but Gen.G certainly not out of it yet.
We saw this in the series against TES as well, where Gen.G, once they thought they were in a good position in the game, really went and overforced a couple times inside. BLG are punishing them expertly, and we talked about the composition with the lead is going to have a great time, particularly for BLG. If you look, the fact that Elk, as you're saying, is already sitting on 50 souls, and the fact that Shun is this fed is absolutely huge.
Yeah, Shun is fully stacked on his Dark Seal on this Nidalee. Does not want to cut those stacks down, does not want to give away that bounty. A lot hinges on him. And if we go back to the composition though, they don't have guaranteed setup for his spears landing, so he really has to play off of a lot of these slows and a lot of this zone control from the rest of the team. So far he's done well playing off bottom lane, off of On.
He mid. Mid going in on the side lane against Keen, just trying to get the equalizer out, expecting to back off. Or does he want to try to keep the play going? All these proc Keen forced to flash in the 1v1. The rest of the team descending. Pays ready to keep this going. Ben going back, wants to finish off the kill that he started. Ben! Clutch in the 1v1.
Way too close there for Keen. The whole team of Gen.G was headed down to the bottom side, and Bin is good for a kill.
And that means that, yes, Gen.G will get a second dragon, but the top lane turret falls as the ultimate.
Arrow hits, but it hits Lahen's body blocking. Excuse me, not Lahen's. On, still trying to walk away. Shun coming over the wall, though, an extra 300 health from the Nidalee heal, and Lahen's and Chovy just can't finish the job. Movement speed forward from the way. On getting poked out. The tower going to take some damage, but the wave will soon be deleted.
That's one of the things that BLG is going to have to keep their eyes on. Chovy hasn't hit the point where he's really going to become a big threat, right? Only his first item just done. Knight also, thanks to that play towards bot side and the top lane turret, actually sitting on a sizable gold lead. But I do think for BLG, you want to try and keep this way down. Eventually, the team fighting against this champion becomes so obnoxious with the amount of AoE damage and CC.
When we talked about the compositions earlier, it was about poke, it was about early leads. Shun takes away the edge of Knight, and BLG have that lead. They have that advantage. 1K for Knight, 1.2 for Shun. The second they start to knock down these towers, Gen.G are going to run out of lanes to play in.
All right, Gen.G, they got to get their reset off. BLG fighting for their lives here and doing quite a good job of it. Now they turn their eyes towards this mid lane, On soaking up and just trying to hold.
One of the big tools that Gen.G have used with Kane in particular is his ability to isolate targets in team fights and set up some insane kicks. One of the, probably the most insane kick I've ever seen was Canyon. Redirects mid-flight smite just to set up a kick on a crucial target. But the big thing here is that On, with that Tahm Kench, makes that so much harder.
Meanwhile, Bin in the side lanes, it's kind of risky. Wave pushing away from him, so he's just playing it safe here, staying out of vision, soaking experience, knows that he is on the weak side of the map as the rest of the Gen.G members there are in River. But he also knows there's no flash on that Rumble.
A bit of a bold call, but we'll give him a small edge, a small bit of additional XP, that much closer to level 12 as BLG begin their onslaught in the mid lane. Spears flying, not going to connect. The Severing Bolt response. Gen.G, do they want to try and punish here?
And Gen.G, they just have to be aware of the Tahm Kench's positioning here when they look for their Ash Arrows.
Ooh! Shun.
Gotta aware of their own positioning too, and those spears.
Can't afford to let any more land. Shun hiding the spear as much as he can in the terrain.
Lance wants to try, but he knows as well this Nidalee is hunting.
Herald gonna be used. Arrow gonna connect. Tom Kench, where's the Devourer going to go? He doesn't even have to use it. Herald charges into the tower, but doesn't quite finish the job. Canyon backing away.
While this is happening though, look at top lane. Bane is just pushing, so Gen G is going to be forced. With the Earth ult gone, they don't really have a great way to start a fight. Someone needs to answer Bane.
Yeah, BLG, they just want to keep up pressure with their poke comp here in mid lane while they allow the split push to take effect. Bin up to the tower, rest of the poke comp here, squeeze in and whittle down the mid lane. But look at Ash, Lens is flanking around here.
Has to be careful, of course. Volley across the team. Keen just doing what he can to clear the wave. The mid lane tower still standing as Canyon clears out the wolves.
Going down.
The pressure does its work. Slowly but surely, the 4-1 split push with all of the poke damage coming down.
There's also, again, we keep talking about it because it's so big. There is no Ornn. There is no Sejuani. There is nothing that can hard force fight. There's no Nautilus either. That was banned by, I think, Gen G themselves to deny the Senna Nautilus. But that means that once you're behind against the poke composition, it's Canyon or bust. I guess Lahens can hit an arrow, but we saw that that is really hard. Elk has his cleanse, and Kench exists.
Such a difficult game now for Gen G to play out. The range at which BLG can play, the lead that they have, makes it simple for them. TP now into the mid lane.
They want to get this turret.
Chovy here, the tower low. Knight, acceleration gate into the shock blast, right onto Lahens. Lots of damage. Now a Nidalee spear soon to follow. Both players favoring this wall again to hide the projectile.
Yeah, Gen G have nobody to soak up skill shots on their team. And Lahens keeps on catching.
BLG in such a comfortable position. They can really just take their time as long as they don't overcommit, as long as they just continue to throw out this poke.
And the last game was Lahens throwing hands. This time he's catching them, unfortunately for him. BLG move over towards the river. It's hard to imagine. And we haven't talked about the soul yet, but into double poke on either side. I imagine that Ocean Soul is going to feel a lot better. Gen G, though, they're already sitting on a Drake advantage, so instead they're going to try and play. And I think they're looking to use their one-win condition, which really is Chovy. As it also looks, haven't talked about this yet, Keen might be going for the Battle Rumble, something we saw him pull out. So he's going to go Riftmaker and then go for a very tanky build, which will allow him to play a lot more aggressive. As the arrow
connects.
Wow, with tower aggro.
Patience, waits till he sees the equalizer. Canyon, does he want to follow? Isn't in range yet, would have to flash for the commit. Severing Bolt, Gen G really trying to hard force here. Pull back onto On. Maw there, Canyon stepping out.
Pace is low.
Abyssal dive, Chovy forced to flash. On getting lower and lower, not gonna have enough time to pop the thick skin. And suddenly Knight's caught out. Knight isolated, Severing Bolt gonna hit, just a bit of extra damage. Lahens now on the run. W hits, slowed down, now he's forced to flash. Shown off to the side of the Nidalee.
It's not enough.
Knight escaping,
Possible
Gen G.
soul point.
That's the big thing. The Drakes can mitigate so much of what BLG composition can do.
Bin, the TP, the flank, the ward.
9K getting lower.
They don't know.
Jax on the side. Gen G cannot see it coming.
He's got flash.
In
Bin
the
has
clutch.
flash.
And when it counts, Bin is here. Chovy flashless. They spot him in time, but now it is Elk who's been caught. It's a beautiful collapse from Gen G. BLG thought they had the angle. Shun now firing back. Bin continuing to chase down pace. Shun forced to flash away. TP coming in. Keen should just drop here, but an excellent route. Keen flashing out the follow from Bin. Bin wants to finish at the extra shield, an extra bit of time. Third Drake for Gen G. BLG in the middle of the river, trying to run down Canyon. Chovy running as well. Good bit of fear. Canyon in the midst. The follow-up is instantaneous, but Knight turns it back, and On stands tall. The cue, the follow-up, the slow. Knight should just be able to finish this fire like despair, but despair for who?
And Keen's the only one who lives. Is he gonna die too? He's going down.
Elk chasing, Keen overheated, out of options.
The big thing here.
Elk has to be careful though.
Baron is up.
Keen does a ton of damage. Will finally get the kill, the equalizer.
Baron is up. Baron is up. BLG. They can try and take his objective. No one can stop them. Only Basin's hands are alive.
They're not enough. BLG. A beautiful fight to further extend their lead. Now the Baron empowering this poke composition.
Gen G all in to get their Dragon Soul point. They had Canyon stay on the Dragon to DPS it, and they did get their Dragon, but look what it cost them. so many extra kills and the Baron buff for the Siege comp to push with. The split push will now take effect. BLG are coming for those towers.
Follow for the damage, not enough. Elk just too accelerated. Shun there with the heal too. Chovy gonna clear the wave as quick as he can.
It was the re-engage, I think, from Canyon when he wasn't able to kill Shun. That felt like the turning point because Chovy was playing it back, and we saw this the last time Gen G played this Wei composition as well. You need to play it slow. Wei is so strong as the cannon gets the final order on the turret.
He tried. The eye not gonna proc there.
Knight got back there for some local gold too. Now the split push though that we're looking for. The siege continues. The siege continues. BLG looking to get inside the base.
And again, if BLG can take all these tier 2s and push Gen G back into their base, it's just again so simple to play this poke composition. Shock blast hits. Chovy has to be careful. The root hits as well. Severing Bolt does not connect. BLG, no wave to play on top side. Been bringing in a wave mid. Good news for the side of Gen G is Keen's already pushed out bottom lane, so the amount of avenues for BLG to play through to further extend this lead are limited.
Trying to play into a poke comp as double AD carry. So rough, no engage for Gen G. Chovy still only sitting on 2.5 items, and they can keep dodging, but these minions are still going to do a whole lot of work. And Bin, meanwhile, in the side lane, I don't think there's anyone that can really match him.
Keen keeping the pressure up though, hoping he can maybe get a tier 2 back. Bin now recalling, does not have the TP.
Look at the faith here Gen G have in their wave clear. They actually sent Canyon to counter jungle. Canyon's counter jungling right now while the rest of the team defends against the BLG siege. Keen's gonna get the tower, Canyon's gonna get the raptors, and he's working on Krugs here too. Gen G, they're so good at just getting little bits back, even in the face of all of this BLG pressure.
And here, Elk dies immediately. So much of the gold and the sustained damage is gone, but because the health bars are so low, it's really hard for Gen G. The mobility from Shun ends up being huge. And then here you see Bin is gonna overchase for Keen, who's gonna take him on a merry journey. They get the dragon, and then here I think Gen G gets just a little bit overexcited. With Wei, I don't think that BLG can actually chase, but Canyon going in and then not getting the kill on Shun is absolutely pivotal.
But you can see that slight moment where there's miscommunication,
yeah,
where Chovy burns all of his skills and then Canyon follows up. It's the little things in a final, in a tense game, in a game where you're at a disadvantage that can cost you. Lance waiting off to the side. And the Rumble is still hitting. The composition is still powerful.
Okay. He was applying pressure.
Zoning.
Well, he's collecting a lot of gold as well in this game. Big gold leads for the whole top side of the map for BLG, and Bin now in his customary 4-1 split push, getting the bottom wave up to this outer tower.
Both of these two teams never give up though. That's a big thing. We saw it in the last game. The problem for Gen G is, yeah, they can have great team fighting, but one spear, one shock blast, and your health bar looks like this.
I'm getting anxious just watching Chovy walk up at 70% HP.
And one dragon that could be the difference. This dragon arriving. Gen G invested a lot trying to get that, but it's going to be really hard for them to steal away or sneak it away somehow.
Oh, okay. Extra movement speed coming in. Lehens does make it out. Dawning Shadow, not going to connect. Would have finished the kill. BLG break another tier 2 tower. Drake in 16 seconds.
Yeah, it should be there, Drake. I don't see a way for Gen G to move up and steal it. They've got plenty of control over the jungle here. Throw down a bunch of traps, and they're fishing around for a pick first.
And Gen G, they use Canyon, the most mobile member, really hard to lock him down. Or isn't that what you see on BLG? And oh my god, Gen G, they're going to try nonetheless.
They want that Ocean Soul.
Canyon off to the side, spotted. No TP flanks. No creative angles. Endless poke coming in. Chovy getting lower and lower. The arrow hitting onto On. Spiraling Despair as he retreats. Bin ready to follow up. He jumps back to the minions. Still 5 members. Spheres coming in. Senecus over the top. And BLG bully Gen G back and turn their sights to the Drake.
That's a TP invested as well. Chovy using his TP to try and contest mid wave. But Gen G right now just too far behind when it comes to gold. The item completions just aren't there. And instead, we'll try and look for counter jungle. Maybe a play here towards the mid lane with this TP, but they don't really know, and it is On, so collapsing them in always going to feel very tough. Gen G didn't lose any inhibs, but the real test comes in about 50 seconds. The second Baron
Retake play.
Take play, knock up, interrupt onto Bin. Lee Sin goes in, kick back to the wall and finishes him. Pays, killing spree. Gen.G, 1 kill already there. Now the knockout coming through though. BLG want to extend the fight, but a beautiful equalizer across the team. And now it's BLG being run down. Keen comes up. Clutch, the follow-up is incredible from Pays. Elk now forced to flash out, and it might be Gen.G who turned back to the Baron.
It's in 30 seconds here, and the death timer on Knight is over 40 seconds.
He TP'd as well, so even if he gets up, he can't join. Is this the moment that Gen.G were waiting for?
Gen.G always looking for the cross map. Now they continue to apply pressure though, trying to siege up and get the extra goal to the tower.
Chovy deleting the wave, does get rooted. Shun doesn't have the angle to launch a spear.
Baron.
Canyon quick to body block, spear will not hit.
They're
7 seconds on Bin.
Pays is recalling, Pays is resetting.
I think they're not going for it.
Yeah,
Chovy grasping Mach, good damage onto Elk, spiraling despair, dawning shadow, severing ball.
And he's fine, of course. I don't know why I was
Teleport.
That's
The
Bin.
flank from Bin, but he's isolated.
All right, just to check the Baron, just to make sure they're not going to go for the rush there.
Chovy doesn't have TP again. Remember, used it for the earlier mid contest. So there is no way for either team here. We'll see if BLG can find an opportunity.
This game is so intense, and Gen.G showing the value of investing in cross-map vision. You have to be so careful when you're retaking the other side of the map. Arrow goes right down the middle.
Shock blast, bit of poke onto Keen. Relatively tanky compared to the rest of the lineup.
That's
Spear.
important. Look at that. He's already building towards that Jack shows. Keen is going to be one of the main tools with his shield when we get to the late stage of the game to try and deal with the poke. And don't forget, Gen.G got the soul. Or sorry, soul point. They got the dragon. Oh, that poke though, still
hurts, but Keen has to be respected. You saw in the previous fight, if he overheats with this build on that squishy backline, all of BLG will get burned down. BLG though continuing to move up towards the Baron. The fight for mid-wave prio, absolutely lethal. A single spear connects. It could be the end of this game 3 for Gen.G.
Crucially, you see BLG there respect the damage that Chovy has as well, because if they start up Nash, they're sitting in that pit and Chovy just throws skill shot. It might not be enough.
Onto Chovy.
Huge damage.
BLG hesitate for a second. Again, the CC options aren't great.
They don't know yet.
Especially when Bin doesn't have a flank. Canyon doesn't hit. Follow-up is good. Equalizer to kick things off. Bin immediately into the backside to buy space for the rest of the team. Forced to flash away, but he's bringing the spiraling back to despair backwards. Interrupt there. Bin safe for a brief moment, but now it's Gen.G winning the fight. Slow and extended. Lehens keeps the pressure up. BLG forced back into their own side.
Chovy has TP.
Mid-wave.
So he might want to look for a back.
They're in enemy territory. How do they get back? BLG ready to fight. A single cooldown, a single misstep could turn it. BLG still have the poke composition.
The sustain there from the Senna, from the Nidalee, doing wonders for BLG.
Nice! The spear fall doesn't connect, but it does not matter. The instant flash out from Lehens and Lon knows this is his time, but Gen.G immediately fire back. 2 members down, 1 on both sides. The route onto Canyon. BLG not in position.
Misses.
Looking for the angle. The shock blast, the flash out from Canyon. Everything balanced in this moment in game 3. Gen.G retreating, calmed, cold, disciplined, knowing this could cost them, but Keen ready for the turn, ready for the setup, ready to try and burn down Knight. Canyon tries to follow, but he cannot do it.
The Nidalee heals him right back up. BLG, they've got an angle on Baron. They're going to start it up.
Oh, and Gen.G no, but I don't think they can do anything about this. Chovy's going to try and TP in. They don't have a jungler. Pace, once they get the back, the spell shield will save him.
They're looking for
the soul.
For the setup,
They're gonna
for the
try
soul.
and trade.
BLG, though, they've done it. They've gotten the Baron. Baron-empowered recalls. They can reset and get out to the Dragon. Every spear, every shock blast here, the difference between life and death. Knight hits the God shock blast onto the 2 backline members, and they just go for it.
Even though On ends up dying, as long as you keep Gen.G within your distance, that's 100% going to be worth it. Lehens dies towards the side as well, and then now it's just a shooting gallery as Gen.G just don't really have a way out, so he can keep landing. And again, Keen forced into trying to all in here, doesn't get it, and Canyon this time around doesn't get anything, immediately gets knocked back, and Knight survives.
So much poke landing there, and now the arrival of the Dragon Soul.
And Gen.G can give this up, but I got a feeling that they won't.
Benji so determined to fight for this. On, kicked back, the follow-up isn't there. Canyon, too keen to start the play. The missile dive gonna connect on the Keen. It's a beautiful equalizer. The follow-up isn't there, and Knight is ready to punish, but they've turned back onto the Jace. They've taken him down. It's a double for Pays, and Gen G can smell the soul. They can see it, they can taste it, and BLG will have to respect it as they back away.
That equalizer denied full access to BLG. They couldn't walk up. Get should steal it.
No way.
That's
Soul. The
Ocean Soul
versus the Poke team. They've done it. Gen G have collected the soul. BLG though, what can they do? Still 1 minute and 20 seconds on this Baron buff.
It's insult to injury, though, because they've spent so much of their Baron buff time trying to contest an objective that they ultimately lost, and the fight seems over-eager at first, but it's a beautiful turn.
And Gen G know they have to work their way through this Tahm Kench health bar to start out these fights. So Lehens just keeps arrowing on the Tahm Kench. They get the first kill onto TK, and then on the arrival there, Chovy lets him have it.
And Knight, I think he tried to time a lot of his burst there onto the moment the teleport arrived, but it wasn't well timed, so Chovy is just fine.
And in the previous fight, Knight, it was the shock blast, the knockback onto Keen to make sure he didn't drop, but in that fight, he was the problem. Cannot afford to TP. Gen G too quick to turn, now empowered by the Ocean Soul. BLG still with the lead. Certainly the poke still terrifying, but Gen G are getting stronger and stronger.
This is the most important game of dodgeball these players will ever play. Now with the Ocean Soul as an answer though, if you just get an attack off on a minion, just get an attack off here and there, the regeneration is gonna do wonders for Gen G.
Chovy now also sitting at 4 items. He's actually gonna be able to just clear these waves as Canyon.
Canyon threatening, severing bolt, kicks it back! Caught out, but Tahm Kench there to deny the arrow follow of Canyon's the one who's gonna take the chunk, but they get a crucial cooldown. Elk, 120 souls, he's only getting scarier on out with the Abyssal Dive. Will stay standing, but you can see how much stronger Gen G have become.
There was no equalizer there, and now the Baron buff is timed out. Canyon got the flash, they got the Devour. We'll see if that's enough to look for an angle.
Big peel on the arrow there as well. Lehens buying some space for Canyon to escape afterwards. That critical flash, we'll see if that is the way to victory, because Gen G now will march towards mid.
The only sound in this arena, that of the commentators, the tension palpable. All of Chengdu ready to rally behind BLG, but knowing that the job is not done despite the leads, the early advantages. Gen G have found a way back. 3.5 minutes till Elder, 2 till the Baron. BLG still going to continue to fish for poke, but again, it's about control. You need the vision advantage if you want to make it easy for yourself, and Gen G are overloading the top side of the map.
We're getting to the point where it might become about how much can Elk do versus how much can Chovy do, right? Chovy sitting at 4 items, Elk approach or sitting currently at 130 souls, 3 items on this Senna. So much of these fights have come down to the zone control, particularly for Gen G. I think their poke is worse, but if you take a fight in a bad angle, you are going to get shredded in seconds. The equalizer plus way combo is so devastating.
And it's moments like this, on the most grand of stages, where you have to come up with those hero plays. Keep your eyes on Canyon. The Lee Sin can be the difference maker to look for those picks.
Your jungle goat.
The jungle goat.
Oh, Jay done for Knight, so he can play way more aggressive. Flash available as well for this chase.
Shun, 607. Knight, 2.1k gold ahead. The poke is there. Bin at 3 items. BLG have the tools, but they have to play flawlessly. If anyone on either side gets picked, this game will end.
All of the hopes of the LPL rest on BLG's shoulders right now. A critical turning point. Can they do it?
That's arrow to start. Devour already gone. Keen, is he ready for the follow-up? Bin off to the side. Gen G staying grouped as 5. They don't want to expose themselves, leave any weaknesses. Shun coming over the wall. Again, lack of CC means it's so easy for him to find these angles.
We're playing dodgeball.
It's so hard to be punished. Brute follow-up. Knight zoned away for a moment, but now they're going to try to collapse. Canyon fishing for the kick angle, knowing that the Tahm Kench cannot save himself. Good start, but Canyon forced to flash out. Dawning Shadow, and Bin goes in, but the counter-strike does not connect. Keen trying to keep the fight going. Elk off to the side. They need to take him down. Chovy still living for a moment. Elk on the chase. Everyone still alive.
In these drawn-out fights, the Ocean Soul gets so much value. Chovy, he took a couple of pieces of fruit and he's already looking fine.
Yeah, Elk is getting pretty scary with his range on the Senna too. You can see him spacing so nicely there. 140 souls, and the sustain off the Nidalee heals and the Senna also doing work for BLG. Both sides continuing the siege.
It's a battle of attrition. It's the Ocean Soul versus the healing of this Nidalee and Senna. Gen G pushing out mid first, moving into the Baron, threatening. BLG don't have the vision, and Gen G know it.
No wave.
On has to be the
Equalizer,
one
5
to check.
seconds.
Bit of a slow. Lahen's poking. A little bit of poke from the shockwave onto Lahen's. Vulnerable, but again, the Ocean Soul just makes it so easy to sustain. On, getting chunked out. Chovy well and truly online. The arrow into the equalizer. It's a beautiful combo. On, taken out. Bin waiting for the perfect angle, but one is down. And in goes Bin. The flash forward. The counter strike. 3-2. But pays. Desperate to turn it back. It's the fight for BLG. Bin comes up clutch.
Can they chase the rest of them down? Pays is cornered here.
He slowed down. I think he's gonna go.
Knight wants to finish the job.
Bin
Bottom of the
TP on
division.
Ash.
Bin takes down Lahen's.
They're gonna get
down they go.
BLG, they got them all. They're gonna go for it, keeping the hopes of the LPL alive.
And it's Ben flashing on top of Chovy. Chovy, even with his flash, ends up going down. They're gonna look for the Ant Keen's up in 15 seconds.
15
but I don't know if
seconds.
he alone can do enough. He can't try and
Three
yield the
members.
wave.
The final push from BLG. Chengdu alive once again with the sounds of BLG. It will not be a 3-0. They will not go easy. BLG, bring it back.
The LPL has won the last 3 MSIs, and they are not going to give away that trophy easily. You are going to have to pry their fingers off of that trophy. BLG, hold on.
Gen G was up 2-0 against TES. Were able to regain control in the last game possible. And BLG again have shown how tenacious they are. Gen G, they fought valiantly, but it wasn't enough. Bin finding Chovy in that crucial fight.
Absolutely did. A nail-biting game 3 brings us to 2-1. Let's head over to the analyst desk to break that down.
Thank you